Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Chandra Ballabha Girivaradhari Gopi Chandra Ballabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So we're reading today from the Srimad-bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter 16, verse 29. Chapter is called Lord Parasurama Destroys the Ruling Class. So we'll chant, we're chanting, we were reading a few verses, not just 29. It's 29 through, I think, 31. Okay, so we'll chant the Sanskrit. Vishvamitra Chaivasan Putra eka shatam ripa Majamastu madhu chanda Madhu chanda sa evate Vishvamitra shachaivasam Putra eka shatam ripa Majamastu madhu chanda Madhu chanda sa evate Vishvamitra shachaivasam Putra eka shatam ripa Majamastu madhu chanda Madhu chanda sa evate Vishvamitra shachaivasam Putra eka shatam ripa Majamastu madhu chanda Madhu chanda sa evate Vishvamitra shachaivasam Putra eka shatam ripa Majamastu madhu chanda Madhu chanda sa evate Vishvamitra shachaivasam Putra eka shatam ripa Majamastu madhu chanda Madhu chanda sa evate Vishvamitra shachaivasam Putra eka shatam ripa Madhamastu madhu chanda Madhu chanda sa evate Vishvamitra shachaivasam Putra eka shatam ripa Madhyamastu madhu chanda Madhu chanda sa evate Vishvamitra shachaivasam Putra eka shatam ripa Madhavastu madhu chanda Madhu chanda sa evate. For synonyms. Vishvamitrasya Vishvamitra Cha also Eva indeed Asan there were Putraha sons Ekashatam 101 Ripa O King Parikshit Majjhimaha, the middle one. Indeed, two indeed. Madhuchandaha, known as Madhuchanda. Madhuchandasaha, named the Madhuchandas. Eva, indeed, te, all of them. Translation. O King Parikshit, Vishvamitra had 101 sons, of whom the middle one was known as Madhuchanda. In relation to him, all the other sons were celebrated as the Madhuchandas.
Вот царь Парикшит. У Вишвамитры был 101 сын. Среднего срока звали Мадхучандра. По его имени всех прочих сыновей Вишвамитры стали называть Мадхучандра.
Srila Prabhupada's purport. In this connection, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur quotes this statement from the Vedas. Tasya ha Vishamitra Aika Shatan Putra Ashu Panchashad Eva Jayanso Madhu Chandasaha Panchasat Kani Yamsaha. Quote, Vishvamitra had 101 sons, 50 were older than Madhu Chanda and 50 younger.
Комментарий. В пояснении к этому стиху Шрила Вишванатха Чакраварти Тхакур цитирует следующее утверждение. Тасьяха Вишвамитра Снейха Шатан Путрая Сух Панчашат Ива Яямсо Мадхучандасаха Панчашат Каньямасаха. У Вишвамитры был 101 сын. 50 из них были старше Мадхучанды, 50 младше.
Let's go to the next verse. Translation. Vishvamitra accepted the son of Ajigurta, known as Shunashepa, who was born in the Bhrigu dynasty and was also known as Devarata, as one of his own sons. Vishvamitra ordered his other sons to accept Shunashepa as their elder brother.
Вишвамитра усыновил сына Аджигарта, Шунашепта, также известного под именем Деварата. Он принадлежал к роду Гити. Вишвамитра приказал своим сыновьям относиться к Шунашепте как к своему старшему брату.
Shunashepa's father sold Shunashepa to be sacrificed as a man animal in the yajna of King Harishchandra. When Shunashepa was brought into the sacrificial arena, he prayed to the demigods for release and was released by their mercy.
Отец Шунашепты продал царю Харишчандру собственного сына, чтобы во время ягги он привести в жертву как животноподобное животное. Когда Шунашепта при виде наявленного жертвоприношения, он стал молиться его богам и милость его спасения.
Srila Prabhupada's purport. Here is a description of Shunashepa.
В этом стихе рассказана история Шунашепты.
When Harishchandra was to sacrifice his son, Rohita arranged to save his own life by purchasing Shunashepa from Shunashepa's father to be sacrificed in the yajna.
Царь Харишчандра должен был принести в жертву собственного сына Рохиту, но тому удалось сохранить себе жизнь, купив Шунашепту его отца. чтобы принести его в жертву на яд.
Shrunashepa was sold to Maharaj Harishchandra because he was the middle son between the oldest and the youngest.
Шумашетка был продан Махараджа Харишчандру, поскольку он был не младшим, не старшим, а средним.
It appears that the sacrifice of a man as an animal in yajna has been practiced for a very long time.
Судя по всему, людей от животных начали приносить жертву вместо животных еще очень давно.
Interesting. This history of Harishchandra, this about the sacrifice, we read that 2 chapters back. Anyone remember?
Это помните, читали, да,
Okay. So Harishchandra was a king, and he had no son.
Харишчандра был царем, у него была сына.
And so he, to get a benediction, to get a son, he prayed to Varuna, the demigod Varuna.
Чтобы получить благословение на сына, он еще молится Варуне полгода.
So he, for some reason, I don't know why, he promised, he so much wanted a son, so he prayed to Varuna, and he promised that I will use my son, I'll sacrifice my son in a sacrifice for you, Varuna, to give me a son.
И по какой-то причине, не знаю почему, но он пообещал Варуне, что он этого сына использует для жертвоприношения самому Варуне.
So Varuna said, yes, very well. You'll have a son.
И Варуна радовался, сказал, да, хорошо, и дал ему сына.
So in due course of time, that son, whose name was Rohita, was born, and after a few days, Varuna came and said, "Okay, it's time for this, your Varuna sacrifice. You do the sacrifice for me."
И через какое-то время Варуна пришел и сказал, пришло время жертвоприношения, давай.
But the king, because now he's very attached to his son.
Но царь за это время очень привязался к своему сыну.
So he starts making excuses.
И он начал просить прощения.
So he made an excuse that, let me just read the verses, because this is from chapter 7. Starting with verse 8, it goes through a few verses here. Harishchandra had no son. Try the translation. Harishchandra had no son and was therefore extremely morose. Once, following the advice of Narada Muni, he took shelter of Varuna and said to him, "My lord, I have no son. Would you kindly give me one?"
То есть у него не было сыновей, Харишчандра, он посоветовал
Narada Muni.
И вот посредством Нарада Муни он начал молиться Варуне,
They go on to say, the king says to Varuna, "My lord, if a son is born to me, with that son I shall perform a sacrifice for your satisfaction." If the king to get a son, he's saying, "Okay, you give me a son, then I will sacrifice that son." He's going to be sacrificed, killed as a part of the sacrifice to please Varuna.
This is very strange.
Yes, very strange. But that's the Srimad-bhagavatam.
В общем, он стал молиться Варуне, и говорит, Варуна, вот, дай мне, пожалуйста, сына, и потом я этого сына тебе же жертвоприношение.
So Varuna, as soon as the child was born, then Varuna came and says, now you have a son, now you can perform the sacrifice.
И вскоре сын родился, и Варуна прибыл после этого, ему сказал, ну давайте договоримся о приношении.
So the king says, well, actually, after 10 days have passed after he's saying an animal's birth, the animal becomes fit to be sacrificed. He's referred to the son as an animal.
То есть сказал, я буду поститься 10 дней, и после того сделаем приношение.
So after 10 days, Varuna came again and asked him to perform the sacrifice, and the king says, when the animal grows teeth, then it will be pure enough to be sacrificed. He's putting it off.
Через 10 дней Варуна прибыл к нему и говорит, ну все, давай делаем приношение. А царь ему ответил, ну необычно, когда животное приносит жертву, то ждут, когда у них вырастет зубы. Поэтому давай подождем и потом.
And then, so the child's teeth grew in after some period of time, and Varuna comes back again and says, now he's grown teeth, and now you can sacrifice him.
И через какое-то время зубы выросли у ребенка, Варуна снова пришел к нему и сказал, ну вот все, теперь зубы у него выросли, давай делать это приношение.
But the king says, oh, well, now when his teeth all fall out, then he'll be fit for sacrifice. Then I'll sacrifice him. When the teeth fall out, when they just like children,
change milk teeth for strong teeth.
Yeah. Just like when we're born, we have little teeth, and after some time the teeth all fall out, and then the permanent teeth come out. So he's waiting till all his teeth fall out, and then he'll be ready for sacrifice.
И на что ему сказал царь, что ну давай подождем, пока у него зубы молочные выпадут, и тогда сделаем приношение.
So then the king says, oh, well, the teeth have all fallen out, but now it'd be better to wait until the permanent teeth all grow back in. Then I'll sacrifice him.
То есть, когда новые вырастут, потом давай сделаем следующий вопрос.
Then he'll be pure enough for sacrifice.
И тогда вот подходит это приношение.
So now the king is saying, when this child becomes a kshatriya, is able to shield himself to fight for the enemy, then he'll be purified. Going to die, she can write of it, all right, they're going to have power of the Srimad-bhagavatam. So
This about child?
huh? Well, they're assuming that, I guess he's saying that the child will become an adult when he grows up. When he grows up and he becomes a kshatriya and he's able to defend himself, then he'll be pure enough to be sacrificed.
Ну, в общем, в очередной раз царь сказал Варуне, что ну давай подождем, когда он вырастет, станет взрослым, станет шатром.
So of course the king, Parasurama, he was obviously very attached to his child. That's why he kept putting off the promise to sacrifice him.
И очевидно, что он очень привязался к своему сыну, ну, поэтому, как постоянно обещал, приносил жертвоприношение.
But Varuna, he's a demigod, and demigods survive because of receiving sacrifices. So he still keeps saying when. So
Варуна, он полубог, и он ожидал свою часть жертвоприношения, и поэтому ждал и спрашивал, когда.
So now Rohita is, I'm not sure what age, but he's old enough to understand what's going on. My father's about ready to sacrifice me.
И вот этот Рохита, в какой-то период, наконец-то, он уже понял, что происходит, и понял, что отец ему обещал его принести в жертву.
And so he went to he just left. He left with bow and arrow and some weapons, and he just left. So he would not be sacrificed.
И он ушел, он, понятно, он не хотел оказаться принесенным в жертву, и он ушел.
And so Rohita heard that his father had become very sick because of, he was cursed by the Varuna, so he became very sick because he was not giving his sacrifice.
И в результате этого его проклял Варуна, и он сильно заболел.
So Rohita wanted to go back to help his father, but Lord Indra, for some reason, said, no, do not go back. Better you go on pilgrimage for a year.
И он хотел вернуться к своему отцу Рахита, но Индра посоветовал ему отправиться в паломничество.
And so he did that, and for another 4 or 5 years, he was wanting to go back to the kingdom, but Lord Indra said, no, you have to wait.
И в течение этих 4-5 лет он был в паломничестве и хотел периодически вернуться, но Индра ему говорил, нет, пока еще не время.
So in the 6th year, Rohita actually purchased a son from somebody else's son, named Shuna Shekha. And he gave that person to his father to sacrifice, to do the sacrifice for Varuna.
И на 6-й год своих странствий Рахита купил вот этого Шунакшету и отдал своему отцу и сказал его принести в жертву.
And anyway, this goes back to, I just wanted to bring us up to date with this. So I guess one interesting thing is here, it seems like here we are, we're practicing Krishna consciousness. We don't sacrifice animals. We don't eat animals. And here's an instance where, for some reason, and it seems it was part of the Vedic culture, there was such a thing as sacrificing a man as an animal.
Ну, мы практикуем сознание Кришны, но мы не приносим жертву животных, не едим животных. Но здесь очень интересно упоминается такая часть ведической культуры, как приношение животных, то есть приношение еды.
But this kind of sacrifice There's another instance in Srimad-bhagavatam about a person being, a human being being sacrificed, or it's attempted to sacrifice him as an animal, a man-animal, they call it.
И есть несколько примеров Сримад-бхагаватам, когда человека приносить или жертву наподобие животного.
In that case, it was the goddess, it was supposed to be a sacrifice to goddess Kali.
В случае, полагается, в случае жертвоприношения для Кали.
And who they attempted to sacrifice was Jadbharata.
И хотели Жадбхарату принести жертву.
And but that particular sacrifice to goddess Kali was really meant for people the lowest level, lowest low class people in society.
И такие жертвоприношения, как правило, выполняли очень люди низкого класса.
And they would perform that sacrifice. That sacrifice was actually meant to discourage people from eating meat. You follow the religious principle, but this is meant to make it so someone would want to give up eating meat. They allowed them to eat meat, but they wanted to discourage them from continuing to eat meat. It's that the goddess Kali sacrifice.
Жертвоприношение богини Кали, оно как раз для того было сделано, чтобы избавить. Ну, в общем, эти жертвоприношения они были для того созданы, чтобы люди дальше продолжали заниматься.
Because the Kali sacrifice required that it wasn't like you go in modern times, you go to a grocery store and you buy some package of meat. If you wanted to, by religious principles, and if you wanted to eat meat, and you wanted to do anything according to any kind of religious principle, you worship goddess Kali on a certain day or a certain night of the month, and you had to kill a certain animal, not a cow, not a useful animal, but some animal, and you had to say to that animal while you're killing it, before you killed it, that I'm going to kill you now in front of the goddess Kali, but I understand that in my next lifetime you are going to come back and kill me in the same way.
И подобно, то есть в современном мире люди просто идут, покупают мясо в магазине или где-то. А в те времена для того, чтобы, если кто-то хотел есть мясо, то ему нужно было принести жертву в определенные недели, в определенные месяца, в определенное время нужно было принести богине Кали жертву животное какое-то, кроме коровы. Вот. И в процессе этого жертвоприношения этому животному говорилось, что мама, что я убила тебя, а потом ты убьешь меня.
So of course, in the case of the Jadbharata, they attempted to sacrifice him, but as he was actually a pure devotee of the Lord, goddess Kali broke out of the deity form, and came and killed everyone.
И в случае с Джадбхаратой разбойники хотели принести его в жертву богине Кали, но поскольку он был чистым преданным, то статуя раскололась, и богиня сама вышла из божества и поубивала всех.
So here, I never understood Varuna as being a sacrifice like that would be accepted by Varuna, but it's here in the Srimad-bhagavatam, so it is what it is. Um, so, um, so, so, so Varuna is willing and ready to accept this kind of sacrifice of a say a man animal, a man used as an animal in yajna. Supposedly there's been practice for apparently it says it appears that the sacrifice of a man as an animal in yajna has been practiced for a very long time.
Я никогда не понимал, зачем было такое жертвоприношение, но это Бхагаватам, здесь как раз говорится о том, что Варуне нужно было совершить это жертвоприношение, где человек используется в качестве животного. И Шрила Прабхупада пишет, что такие яги были с давних пор.
But his one point here is that kind of sacrifice, I'm not sure how popular it was, but that kind of sacrifice was only in the worship of demigods. It's not a Krishna sacrifice.
И такие жертвоприношения, они совершались только для полубогов. Конечно, Кришна такое жертвоприношение не было.
And also those kind of sacrifices to the demigods, if they are not done perfectly, then you may get a different result than what you think you're going to get.
И, конечно, если подобные жертвоприношения полубогам совершались неправильно, то люди получали реакции за те жертвы, которые они допускали.
Because Srimad-bhagavatam also tells the history of another king, Prachanivarhi, father of the 10 Prachetas.
И также Сримад-бхагаватам рассказывает историю царя Прачанивархи, отца Прачета.
His sons had all gone off for a long time and practiced devotional activities. They became very pure.
Его сыновья занимались, практиковали преданное служение
But Prachanivarhi, while everyone else was gone, and he was performing all kinds of sacrifices, and that involved animal sacrifices for some kind of material benefit, going to the heavenly planets or something. He was performing those sacrifices. Prachanivarhi.
И там какой-то период, когда сыновья ушли, и Прачанивархи он сделал какой-то провел яги, там, какой-то такой обычный причины там материал.
That's a long history right there, but I'll just make the main point I want to make here is that Narada Muni came to help him and showed him that because you're doing all these sacrifices, but you're doing something wrong, and because you're doing something wrong, all these animals that you're killing that are supposed to actually benefit the animals and supposed to benefit him, all those animals are going to come back in the future and cause you a lot of problems.
И Нарада Муни, значит, он пришел для того, чтобы помочь тому царю, потому что когда он совершал жертвоприношение, то он приносил жертву животных, и делал это неправильно. И чтобы в будущем эти все животные причинили ему много страданий, поэтому Нарада Муни пришел, чтобы ему помочь.
So the main thing for us in this history is that we also perform sacrifice, but our sacrifice, of course, is the Sankirtan Yajna.
И главный момент для нас, который мы здесь можем увидеть, то, что мы тоже совершаем жертвоприношение с ягью, но у нас Санкиртана ягья.
And that Sankirtan Yajna, of course, is for Krishna, for Lord Chaitanya.
Санкиртана ягья, конечно, для Господа Кришны Чайтаньи.
And the results of performing the Sankirtan Yajna is, of course, alternately we can become Krishna conscious and go back to Godhead.
И результат такой ягьи в том, что мы, конечно, в итоге станем сознательными Кришной и будем
Anyway, there's a couple of points in these verses. Any questions, comments? If there are questions, we have a wireless microphone we can speak into. So that those who may watch outside can also hear us.
What responsibilities get demigods? What responsibilities get demigods for these sacrifices for them? Because they encourage people to make these sacrifices with sinful ways. It means he meant the killing of animals.
Well, the animals get, if it's done properly, the animals, that soul gets a human body, so that's good for the animal.
Но если это жертвоприношение совершается правильно, то животное оно получает человеческое тело, поэтому для животного это благо. If instead animals kill people.
Yeah, that is strange. I don't know why they. I don't know why they would sacrifice a human being instead of an animal. The Vedas make it very clear on the relationship between a human being and an animal. Human life is meant for spiritual life, progressing. So I don't actually know that. I'd actually like to try to find that out, but I don't know.
Я не знаю, зачем это делается, это очень странно, потому что человеческое тело, в отличие от этого животного, оно предназначено для духовного прогресса, поэтому непонятно, почему это происходит,
I know in the case of Jadbharata, they had no animal, a regular, real animal, and so they found Jadbharata who didn't speak. He didn't. They considered, he is very low class. He's like an animal. So that was obviously wrong because they all got his colleague killed them all when they tried to sacrifice Jadbharata.
Что касается Джадбхарата, то они хотели принести его в жертву, потому поскольку он выглядел, скажем так, он скрывался, то есть они посчитали, что он соответствует какому-то высшему животному, решили его привести в жертву разбойнику. Ну, в результате мы знаем, что
in any case, those kind of sacrifices, the goddess Kali sacrifices and so on, they are actually forbidden in Kali Yuga. They're not allowed. I mean, by Vedic understanding, that they're not actually allowed. The sacrifices the goddess Kali in Kali. These were previous at a previous time. In Kali Yuga, they're actually not allowed.
Ну, эти жертвоприношения для Кали, они были превыше, да,
yeah, there were a few different things that were not allowed. Your brother begetting a child in your wife's womb, your brother begetting a child in the womb of your wife. That was previously allowed under some circumstance. That's also not allowed.
Также запрещены зачатие ребенка в жене двойни, жене брата, если брат.
Anyway, there was some. I think there was one more that I don't remember right off.
Я не помню всех, но ранее можно было, сейчас
Unless there's any questions, comments, then we'll end here since I already go over time, and we'll continue tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow we'll finish the chapter. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.